And we're on, I think.
Tell me that we've gone live. That's a positive, isn't it? Yes, I know everyone. I needed a shave. Tough.
Eddie Rowe.
How are you today,
Eddie Rowe.
Andy? How are you today? It looks like Ed's not with us at the moment.
Looks like Gap. Why? 7 or 8 p.m. I'm very confused. Oh yeah, so that was. Oh, Gap must have put a message on early doors.
Oh goodness, yes. Wow.
Yeah,
oh.
that was really throwing me then, because I thought, what time zone am I in? I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, what's going wrong now? Bizarre and baffling. I'll have to finish exporting. I've just finished editing this week's What's New at Cosmic Toys video, which would normally go up on a Tuesday, but because of the Doncaster Toy Fair, it's not. It's going up tomorrow. It was processing in the background whilst this video was going to be, while we were streaming tonight, and I was expecting it to just start sort of like playing me talking or whatever, and I'm going to have to quickly pause it. Well, it's just come up with an alert saying that I've got content in there that I cannot use in this software.
Oh.
Yeah, it's my outro, the one that I use in every single video.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
Apparently, I don't have the permission to use this content. You know, the content I created.
I do sometimes wonder about that, about what would happen if you sort of upload a video, then you try and upload it to another channel you run.
Oh.
Would it then get like a sort of copyright ping? Even though
it looks like Eddie's trying to join us this way.
Oh, okay. An emergency join, is it?
What's going on?
It would help if I had the correct links. The link I have was for a live stream that's going live at 5 to 5.
Seriously? That was deleted before I sent you a link? And you've left it.
He's not got the right linkage.
Well, you've managed to share this.
Yeah, that's why I don't get it.
So that's weird. And Andy's come on with the same link.
I'm just special.
And not only that, but you're also an admin now. Oh, he's fallen out with me.
I'm sure he'll blip into being shortly.
What's going on? Insert Delia Smith. Where are you? You might get it, but hey ho. Might not get it. I don't get it. Have you got the email, Ed?
Yeah, I've just clicked on it now. See what happens.
If not, you can join us like this.
Wee. He definitely exists. He's just been set into the phantom zone.
Is he coming? Is he going to join us? So what's the chat been going on then? Gap says, "Wow, with this picture thumbnail, are you guys the new kids on the block?" Step by step, who got it? Right, okay. Right. We are the celestial overlords. Of all that is collectible, we see all, we hear all, we speak of all. Well, I hope we find something to speak of. Spectrum on the block group, yes, definitely.
He's a curious.
Gap's not going to be able to join us tonight.
Yeah, Gap can't make it.
Oh, well, never mind. Hello there, Benjamin. Technical glitches. Is that what you're laughing at?
Oh, I should change my link, really, shouldn't I? I should put a link in there for my... Anyway, not to worry.
How do
I'm gratuitously self-plugging.
Well, we did have 3 watching. We're now down to 1. So, what have you been up to this past week, Andy?
What have I been up to? I've got a very bizarre... Yeah, I've got a very bizarre Lego set to show you. You might see my video of it. Deeply bizarre.
Have I seen the video? Yes, I have. Yes.
Mhm.
You wouldn't think it was Lego, would you?
No, you really wouldn't. Aha, Arctic loading error.
I'm hanging up because I think we're going to get that
Yes.
alert noise. It's a chimp.
And, I did that, and I went on a road trip as well.
Yes, so I saw. You had a good time by the look of it.
I was there and back, and it was quite a stretch, but it was a very, very straight stretch, which was a distinct bonus. So I took my chance to do it. I thought if I didn't go then, I wasn't sure when I was going to be able to get across for it. So I thought I'd do it while I had a chance. Oh, hello.
I'm here.
He's here. He's nearly here. We've got a talking head, literally.
I was just sorting out gubbins. Hello.
Hello.
Well, no idea what happened there.
Technical difficulties.
Oh, Mark's joining us. Look, he's watching your video, Andy. Well, he's watching yours or Ed's.
Okay, cool.
Not watching mine. He don't like me.
Oh, me.
Mark's been his
in
auction
front of the
marathons, hasn't he? Bless him. I worry that he can't actually get himself out of his chair now.
Yeah,
£1 a large fries and a large Coke.
That sounds nice, does that?
On a fruit pie, not an apple pie.
Mark wants to know where's the guys from the thumbnails.
Yes, it's false advertising.
It is, because they're all fairly good-looking guys, but you're stuck with us instead.
I think Ed's had an upgrade.
One out of 3 of them is all right. No, it's massively massively misleading.
Smidge.
A little bit.
So you were saying about your road trip.
Yeah, so this was it was a classic example of eBay's algorithm being very, very clever. So it just threw this at me, and I looked at it, and I thought that can't be right. I thought it could be right, but why isn't anyone bidding for it? Because it was an expensive auction. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It was an expensive auction. Then I realized it was collection only. And I looked at where it was, and I thought, I could, in theory, do that. So, if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, basically, it was lots of these. The good old Eaglemoss Star Trek ships. It was over 70 of them, including some of the big ones, and the magazines. It's like, I'm not quite sure if it's all the magazines because I haven't worked it out yet, but it's a big sequence of the magazines that they used to come packaged with.
Yeah.
And it was actually from
it ran to be honest with you. I forget how long that series ran to.
It was a lot. It had a lot of, I think it was over 100 issues easily.
Oh, it was I would say at least 200.
Quite possibly. Yeah. I mean, as I say, I haven't cross-referenced it against anything at this point, but it's pretty incredible, how long it ran for. But they're really good magazines, it does give you quite a lot of detail if you're into that sort of thing, when you tech specs and stuff. So anyway, long story short, it was like a community interest company, so it was like a charity, and they'd been donated this guy's collection. So he'd just given them to the charity to sell, to raise funds. So I thought, well, it gets them the money, and like literally no one else bid. I was the only bidder, probably because it was collection only.
Possibly.
So so I just went, okay. And I've never hummed and hard so much over hitting confirm bid because it was a lot. But I thought the big ones will cover a fair chunk of what it's costing me to get it if I resell those, because for me they were duplicates, a lot of them.
Right.
So I'm selling the duplicate ones. And some of the duplicate ones had duplicates within the batch. So it was like I've got 2 of some, 1 of others. But then the nice thing is that all the rest of them are new to me. so they can add to my existing collection, even though I've got no space to put them anywhere. If I get another shelf or two, I can put those in, and then I can do. Obviously, I'll do videos when I'm sort of unboxing and looking at those, and I should have all the magazines for them as well, which is nice. So I can do a sort of double header on those when I do come to do them. So yeah, really nice, really very pleasant sort of couple that I got them from, and they even had boxes. They had them all box ready for me as well, which made life a lot easier. So fair dues. It was totally painless.
Any well-known vehicles, or are they all obscure kind of ones that you've ended up getting?
It depends what you define by well-known, really. I mean, you've got stuff like that, which is the Stargazer, which is Picard's original ship.
Yeah.
That appear in the series. I haven't got anywhere near all of them here. They're all back in boxes at this point. But you've got Ferengi Marauder,
yeah,
which is quite a sort of classic one, because that came.
Which
they were going to be the original big bads in the series.
Yeah, but don't you think it also as well kind of looks like the Rebel Alliance symbol?
A little bit. But no, it is. It's. I know. You're not the biggest fan of them, are you, Gareth? From a sort of a. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm a little. I'm on the fence with them. I think I probably have more positive opinions of them than I do negative. To be honest with you, I mean, I think they're a very good collection. I like the size of them, considering how many of them they ended up doing. I like the size of them because they don't take up an awful lot of room per model. They display nicely.
They do. My biggest bugbear with them...
Of the Eaglemoss things, they're one of the better ones.
Fair enough. I mean, my biggest bugbear with them, if I were super picky about this sort of thing, is that... they have no consistent scale to them whatsoever. So, that's a starship. That's a little tiny shuttle, which is as big as the starship. There is no consistency whatsoever.
I would love to see the results of that shuttle docking with that spaceship.
It would have to be very, very, very wee, very wee.
Yes.
But the Stargazer,
the box size. That's what it boils down to. The scale is what fits in their standard boxes.
That's right.
The Stargazer that you've got there, then, does that fit? Does that scale with like a Constitution class then?
Well, that one would, but purely by accident, because a Galaxy class would be the same size as the Stargazer.
Right.
So it's just, you can't, you put all the Enterprises next to each other and they are all much of a muchness, which is daft, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Because they just aren't. And equally, if you get, the funny thing is the same applies to the XL size models. So if you get an XL size Sovereign class, it's tiny because it's long. If you think about the rectangular box it's got to fit into, so of course it's, but then you get a runabout in XL size and it's huge.
Yeah.
it's bigger than the Sovereign. So it's like, this does not work well, kids. But anyway, if you want scale models, buy them from someone else is the moral of that story. If you want consistency.
So what would you say?
Well, they are all to scale. All of those models are to scale, just not with each other.
Yes. That's fair.
I mean, there's only one I'm tempted. Well, sorry, no, potentially three I'm tempted for, and that's the 1701, the 1701 Constitution refit, and then the 1701A. Yeah. So, but
that's the same thing, though.
What is
1701 refit and 1701A is the same thing, except with an A.
No. There's a myriad of differences. But anyway, we won't get into that.
Okay.
However, when it comes to models, there's no difference, though.
The like die-cast and plastic and things like that, is it kind of like, is the detail fine enough, or is it kind of like, is it smudgy kind of thing? Does it feel like a block of die-cast that's just had a bit of spray paint licked over it kind of thing?
Let me get one out and see if you can see. I mean, I was pleased with how die-cast they often are. Some are, some aren't. Some are plasticky, but they tend to be quite solid. I mean, actually, this one's a bad example. I mean, I think this one actually feels quite light, ironically. So this one may not be the best example, but you see there's a reasonable amount of detail on the sort of the dorsal section there.
Oh,
Wrong one. There we go.
There we go. So it's quite, it's quite decent. I mean, for me personally, purely from a display point of view, I'm quite happy with them.
Just rotate. Let's have a look at a side profile on it, Andy.
It probably wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea because I don't know how precisely it is because it's not, the scaling might be a little bit off. But I think they do try pretty hard, in fairness to them.
For a 10 to 15 quid mass-produced model, I think that they are fantastic.
Yeah. And you don't have to paint them. This is literally, as you just see me get it straight out of the box. That is exactly as they are.
Depending on what angle you come at it from, you can complain about quality issues, or you can just look at it as, well, they've made these available. They've made some very, very obscure ships that you would never want a model of available to a very wide audience for not a great amount of money.
No, and I'm trying to price them quite sensibly in the eBay auctions that I'm running at the moment that are gratuitously that is plastered all over my my name tag.
I have no idea what you mean.
It's very, very long now, isn't it? It's subtle, isn't it? The thing is, when did these? I mean, I was very, very late to these. I started getting into these just as they were about to die. In fact, I got just the amount I was after just before Eaglemoss folded. So I was like, whew, But of course, they are still available now. Master Replicas are still throwing out the old. I think it's the old stock, but I'm not quite sure what the current state of play is. Yeah,
they bought the stock.
And there seems to be a corgi company. And I hadn't realised that. When I searched for them, it sort of said a Corgi International company. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Given that Corgi are doing their own die-cast Star Trek stuff now.
Mm-hmm. I know. I really need to get on board with that.
Yeah, they really? I think they're well. A, I think they're pricey, and B, I'm not sure that their sizes are right on the website. But I'll be interested to see one in the flesh when they've come out.
When you say they're pricey,
yes.
Got anything to go by?
I mean, compared to Eaglemoss, for example.
Well, I'd compare to other corgis, and your normal, your typical corgi car. They're like 30 quid each now.
Okay, that is price. They are pricey then.
So in comparison to a car that's 30 quid that size, how do you now think that the price is too much for the Star Trek ones, or is it in keeping?
Puts me off personally.
Does it?
It's over 50 quid. And I'm sorry, but I mean, you've been struggling to pay that much for an Eaglemoss XL size. And I'm just not. I don't know that they've got a USP that justifies that price tag.
And to be fair, the last time they did do Star Trek would have been around about the time of Into Darkness. I remember they released the Enterprise, the Bird of Prey, and the Vengeance, and they were 25 quid.
And the Bird, I mean, I have to say, I think I got the Bird of Prey as an anniversary release. To my surprise, because it was a Corgi release, I didn't realize they'd done them at all. And it's a really lovely model, actually. Nice stand as well. So on that basis, on the basis of what I've seen them do before, I would be quite keen on them. But unless they're bigger than I think they are.
Although I would probably say, considering it's Corgi, there's probably going to be a fairly considerable heft of diecast to them, whereas even the XLs of the Eaglemoss ones are mostly plastic.
They'd be very heavy if they were completely metal, the XL ones. But then I remember, having said that, the first XL one I got from them was it was a Cavort class Bird of Prey, and it was such a weight. even for Bird of Prey, you know, I was like, I couldn't. I mean, it was literally the first one of their range I'd ever got. That just completely sold me on them straight away because it was just mind-bogglingly detailed and everything else.
Mark seems to think the Corgi ones are tiny anyway.
Well, Mark's got recent experience of the Corgi cars, I believe, which he was not impressed with, I believe.
And they're cheap Chinese crap. Well, everything's cheap Chinese crap. Everything's made in China.
Particularly poor Chinese crap, if I recall. I haven't watched the video, Mark, yet, but I know of it, and I don't think you were impressed from what you mentioned on the stream the other day.
Sorry, what was that? I kind of phased out. I was just looking at the Stargazer on because it were like I don't. It's not, but it just the nacelles on it just look odd. They look like they're on wrong. They're laid flat as opposed to be vertical.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yes, they are because they're on them because it's got 4 of them, so they're horizontal.
Yeah. So the warp field is going to be generated to the sides rather than vertically rather than horizontally, and also as well where the nacelles go on the Stargazer, those 2 dome-shaped things at either side, those are actually the tops of the turbo lifts from the Constitution class. So they're on sideways. So you've got a turbo lift that goes side to side.
There's a whole bunch of kit bashing going on in the next gen. A whole bunch.
Yeah. Well, I mean that the saucer section is just it's a Constitution, but it's thicker. Yeah. They've obviously made it thicker, and that. But I like me Star Trek ships, but not enough to go down the route of getting collectibles of them.
But I mean, you would never have got this in the films. Therefore, you would never normally have had it released ever in anything. So I mean, as Gareth says, the sheer range that they did is incredible. Mm. And what's really funny is, once they hit kind of Voyager and Enterprise, it's CGI a go-go. So all of a sudden, the number of ships explodes. I mean, when you think about how many ships weren't on screen just until like Star Trek First Contact, even. I mean, First Contact actually brought in a slew of new ships because that was CGI. But Generations, few, but they were all ones we'd seen before in the series. Even at the end, when there's no Berth and a Nebula at the end, that's about it. Yeah,
well,
that's the thing. Yeah, because like if you think about it, pre Next Generation, it was all physical models, and they're expensive. They're really expensive. I mean, they're so expensive that in Star Trek Generations, the Enterprise B came about because they didn't want to damage the Excelsior model. So they stuck a load of kibble on it just so they could blow the kibble off.
Yes.
But then what happened was they never reverted it back to the Excelsior model. So there's only, I think, in the TV show and movie canon of Star Trek, there's only 2 starships that share that design. The Enterprise, and I forget what the other one's called, but it comes a lot later on because apparently they make them in batches. So if you go by the registry numbers in batches. So like the Enterprise B was one of the first of that batch, that Excelsior batch, if you will,
Yeah.
But it had the extra modifications that the other Excelsiors didn't, But to this, I think, if I remember right, today, I don't think there's any in-canon explanation as to why they did that or why it was discontinued. In fact, there's no in-canon, I don't think, about what actually happened to the Enterprise B, whether it was destroyed or decommissioned.
No, because I was just thinking about what Sulu got, because he got the Excelsior.
Yeah, he got the Excelsior
rather than the EB. So yeah. I think there were comics. I think I've got a comic with the captain who was the captain.
Oh, Harriman, John Harriman.
Yeah, Harriman. Yeah, I've got some comics and I haven't looked at them yet, actually, so I don't know.
Right.
But again, it would be secondary canon if it's canon at all, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, the great design ships. I mean, like I said, I think. I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence with the design of the starships, really, because when you get to Next Generation, the kind of like there is a bit of uniformity, but then when you get to First Contact, it's just like it's like fan fiction of starship designs. There's just all sorts turn up. Yeah, that's and then you've got is it the Akira class? Well, that one there just looks like. That just looks like a retouched up Jem'Hadar. Bloody hell! What's the name of their ships now?
Seriously, I hadn't prepared that at all, but as it happens, yes.
yeah, they look quite similar, you know. And I mean, I think they reused as well. The Raiders, the Marquis Raiders were reused for something else as well. I think with
they were the Federation attack fighter, and they were a ship called the Nightingale in Voyager as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
well, all they say, it didn't happen on screen.
Yeah, everyone gave him glowers that implied that, and he did say it wasn't my fault. Like clearly it was. Yeah. Everyone else thinks it was.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean the Enterprise. What is it then? It's the Enterprise G, isn't it, that they're on in Picard? So the Enterprise F must have had a really short lifespan.
It came out of space dock on Federation Day.
No, that's the G. I'm talking about the F, the one before it. So
that was the F. Yeah, the F.
Right.
So it went Sovereign E that we don't know what happened to it, but Worf had something to do with it. Then I think the F came out of space dock, but it was going to be decommissioned shortly, apparently. There was something because Shelby had command of it. Do you remember? Then Shelby got offed fairly rapidly by one of the Borgified youngsters. So then they were up to G, but then the G, whatever would have been the G, the Titan got renamed to the G for the end of Picard, and that's what they're now tooling around is the Enterprise G.
Right. Sorry, I thought the one that Shelby was on was the G.
Mark's agreeing with me in the chat.
Right. That's my misunderstanding. Then I thought the Shelby one was the G. Then the Enterprise.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, so we've seen the J, so we don't know what H and I will look like yet. But I think the F was a.
But then again, I mean,
Star Trek Online, was it not? I could be wrong. I don't know anything about Star Trek Online, but Gareth appears to be.
But to be fair, I mean, I wasn't.
I know.
I wasn't over keen of the fact them renaming the Titan an Enterprise. It's like it just feels a bit of a downgrade. It's like kind of thing. So Enterprise really. I mean, although it wasn't in the original series, at post-original series, the Enterprise has pretty much been like the flagship of the Federation. It's been the Federation
historically,
flagship.
Definitely.
So to downgrade it, if you will, to the Titan. They should have kept the Titan as the Titan. I think it earned its stripes.
Yeah, and the previous version of it was in lower decks as well. So you would have expected the Titan to, because I think that was actually a Titan A as well. I think.
Right. Well, you see, that's the other thing that I don't like or agree with is the alphanumeric suffix to them. The only starship that had a suffix was the Enterprise because it was the flagship. All the others should be just the registry number, because it was kind of honouring the legacy of the Enterprise by giving it, it retained its registry number.
Mark was just asking about XLs. It technically speaking, isn't one. But this...
You were just asking about something, but this isn't one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's somewhere in between. This is a special issue, they used to call them. So this is kind of a slightly more detailed version of the standard.
Yeah, it's one of the
size.
specials.
This is
it's the refit and X class.
Yes, this is which hasn't appeared on screen apart from in Picard. Because if you look at when they take the D out, just above it, I've got a video on this, but just above it is this one in the Fleet Museum. But it is the refit. It's not the one that was in the series. So and it makes perfect sense because you can see exactly where the Constitution class then grows from. But that's an example of a slightly larger version of one of their models. And ironically, this is what I picked up from my mass lot. But I'd literally just got it as well, which is kind of annoying. But had I waited, I would have ended up with one. But anyway, So yeah, but I mean, I like the NX, and of course, if you do that and make believe really hard, it's an Akira class.
Benjamin caught it as well.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think that NX, the NX-01, the design of that had been influenced by, the Starship classes that came in, like post First Contact.
Yeah. Not put the lid on.
No, I'm not saying. I mean, to be fair, the one that I always wanted, but never got, was the Bandai kit of the 1701A, the one that lights up. It has all the light up features.
Oh, nice. That'd be lovely. Yeah.
But I missed that one. I mean, I've been talking that's donkeys years ago. That one came out. But,
is something you're aware of, Andy?
No, but I think I've seen some thumbnails of someone who's putting one together. So I hadn't actually looked at it yet. But yeah, it was the TOS version of it, I believe.
Thanks for joining us anyway, Guardian, but it looks like none of us really know anything about this one.
No, as I say, it's not.
It features a separating saucer section.
Oh.
But obviously, it would need a space dock to be able to reattach it.
I see.
It's very large. It looks very nice.
Interesting. Does it have a very nice price tag?
Yeah. That's quite tasty.
Crowdfunded thing, it probably will do, won't it?
I mean, I've got the old Dinky Enterprise. I do have a bit of a soft spot for that because I think it's of its day, but it's quite nice as a display thing because you know exactly what it is, and the shuttle bay doors allow it to stand up.
You've seen it on the shelf in my shop, mister.
I've got it on a shelf in my display cabinet, mister.
I had one before you were born, mister.
Oh, I had one when I was little. Yeah,
yes, enough about your bedroom antics. Does it now? A lot of them have really silly screw holes. I've noticed that.
What, the right-handed screw holes for left-handed screws?
Yes, Eddie. Yes.
Well, what? Yeah, but I don't get what do you mean stupid screw holes? What in what
Probably
sense?
The fact that they're on a model, not on a toy, but on a model, they're highly visible. When it'd be so easy to put a plastic plug over those holes afterwards.
Yeah, you couldn't you? Yeah.
Well, you get some milliput. Just get a bit of milliput and cover them up with a bit of milliput. Couldn't you?
Should you have to do that on an expensive model?
Well, it's only like if they
finish
provide
off the work of the craftsman.
Well, it's only if they supplied some screw cap covers, wouldn't it?
Well, they'd be supplying them.
Well, I suppose, but then but then you probably complain that there's a gap around the screw hole and the caps are dropping out.
But they can't charge you an extra 30 quid later if they come in the original box. So he says cynically.
Anyway, someone asked us a question earlier. It was Wolverine. Well, what do you think of the new Snow White movie made by a new studio? I'm guessing he means the Daily Wire one.
I have no idea.
I did hear something the other day about Disney are looking at what actions they can take against, I think it's the Daily Wire, because they're making a Snow White movie, but they are making it based on original material. Yes, so it's a white Snow White, and there's actually 7 dwarfs in it.
Well,
but if it's based on the original fairy tale, then I can't imagine that Disney have got any say over it whatsoever because they don't.
No, because it'll be. It's probably in public domain by now. I would have thought.
Oh, long since.
Well, the problem with public domain is if you keep on releasing remastered versions and stuff, then you extend your.
No. The public domain, the original story.
Oh, sorry, I'm with you. Yeah.
Will be in the public domain now. No, the Disney one never will be because they'll always find some way of renewing it.
Yeah.
If Daily Wire make it to the exact specifications of the original novel, I don't see how. Well, sorry, fairy tale should I say?
Fairy tale.
I don't see how Disney can have any say in it because they don't own the rights to it. Now, if the Daily Wire were to make it as an exact remake of the 1930s animated feature, then yes, I could understand that. But I think there's it's like this is the Winnie the Pooh thing, isn't it? Winnie the Pooh.
Still need to see that, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it as well.
You could make your own Winnie the Pooh film. Just don't put a red jumper on him. Red shirt. Sorry.
Yeah, you see, they could probably go for you trying to copy their character likenesses and stuff like that. I mean, let's face it, it's US lawyers. They'll just unleash a horde of them upon you, or they'll buy you. I mean, they could just buy them if they felt they had a chance of pulling it off. They might just go for the acquisition route, but it doesn't stop anyone else coming along again.
With the Daily Wire. There is no way that Ben Shapiro would give in to Disney like that.
Well, I mean,
it's an interesting one. It's an interesting the concept of the original ideas becoming public domain. There's definitely that chance that someone could try and
what is it that's supposed to go public domain this year?
And we are getting to that sort of era now.
There's a really big IP that's supposed to go public domain this year. I forget what it is.
What's the time?
Unless I'm thinking of the Winnie the Pooh, I might be thinking of the Winnie the Pooh.
I think it's about 70 years. But again, you see, I mean, different territories can have slightly different rules as well.
Mm-hmm.
There is no one single. I mean, there is the Berne Convention, though. Actually, thinking about it, I'm not quite sure how that regulates it all.
We are always bothering each other. I'm guessing you mean brothers.
Brothers.
Well, if we are, then I'm the baby brother.
Right. Apparently,
no, we're not brothers. We're not related.
Read here. Apparently, in 1998, they changed the law. It was 75 year, but in 1998 they changed it to 95 year.
Yeah, you know why?
Where? Here?
No, in the States.
Ah,
yeah, you know why, don't you?
Oh, Disney.
Yeah, Disney paid them to.
Yeah, probably.
It's a well-known.
We like to refer to it as lobbying.
Oh, that's right, Benjamin. It's Tigger from Winnie the Pooh that becomes public domain this year.
Oh,
yes, yeah. Because it was a later character added to Winnie the Pooh.
It's funny you should say that because do you know the wonderful thing about Tiggers?
Yes, Tiggers, they're wonderful things.
And the heads are made of rubber.
And the bottoms are made out of springs.
And Andy, what do we do?
Oh.
Piss
but the most wonderful thing about Tiggers is the fun.
Yeah. Right, you've failed the test there, Andy. You won't be asked that next week.
I've actually got a very, very old Winnie the Pooh book downstairs. It was my mum's originally.
Oh wow!
It's a proper leathery, hardbacky sort of book, They like to bounce.
They like to bounce.
Bouncy bounce. Got a dog next door to me that can do a Tigger right over my gate. It's impressive.
Wolverine, Mr. Logan said, I get the impression that you are the kind of guy that runs with every headline you see. Because I know exactly what you're referring to here.
What, Star Wars getting a reboot?
You need to start clicking on these articles and actually reading the text. It's not getting a reboot at all. Matthew Vaughn, the Planet of the Apes guy and Kingsman director and whatnot, he was asked in an interview last week, would you be interested in ever directing a Star Wars film? And he said that if he directed a Star Wars film, he would like it to be a reboot, and he would like to go back and tell the story from a new perspective of Luke, Leia, and Han. He said, but I know that's never going to happen, and we're not going to do it. But that's what he'd like to do. And that's pretty much all he had to say on the subject. But so many people have... Pardon?
Who was that?
Matthew Vaughn.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But so many people have run with the whole, they're going to reboot Star Wars.
I thought people were saying they were going to try and do something to the last sequels, sort of via things that were happening in the Ahsoka or something. Were they trying to?
A lot of people have been hoping for that.
Yeah.
Whether or not it actually happens is another thing, and it's not going to do.
No.
It's not.
No, it's yeah, it's
If the viewing figures come making Star Wars stuff altogether.
yeah, they're not having a good time, really, are they?
They're not. Mark's triggered because we actually discussed this earlier on, and he was like, no.
Triggered by what? What's he triggered by?
The prospect of a Star Wars reboot. They should never ever reboot Star Wars.
But they will.
Like,
They will.
I'd be quite happy for them to reboot Star Wars, make the original trilogy again, and then all this new crap can be associated with that, and it can leave our original stuff alone.
I'd be willing to bet money within the next 30 years they'll reboot Star Wars.
I think so.
And,
they're going to come to a point where they just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, and they'll reboot. The Back to the Future will be in there as well. You know, obviously Back to the Future, once Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis die, then they can reboot it.
Yeah. Well, it depends on their estate holders, doesn't it? So their kids would have the say over it.
Well, I suppose, but I'm pretty sure in his interview he said that it would, it's just while they live, there won't be any reboots.
Well, I know. I remember. I think it was one of them. I think it was Rob Zemeckis. Literally said, "Over my dead body."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Fairly clear.
We're getting a What If, probably a cartoon. Isn't that literally what Visions is?
A what if what?
Star Wars What If.
I don't think Visions are expressly what if. They tend to be within the established universe, I think, broadly speaking. There are some daft ones though. Wasn't there one what was that one where they had 2 Star Destroyers or something? Anyway, I forget. But I think Mark must presumably is thinking of the Marvel what ifs that they did, which were kind of expressly Watcher driven what ifs, weren't they? Do you remember?
The only one I enjoyed of that was the zombie one. I liked the Marvel zombie one. I enjoyed that.
I only saw one. It was one that Gene said that I would enjoy, and it was the Thor one, and I thought it was a load of rubbish, so I never watched any more.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Mark did say that he'd like to see a take on the first draft of Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Because it was different than what we actually got. Ben's canon ends at Return of the Jedi.
Fair dues. Old school.
And I'm going to let you two answer this because I'm getting a bit sick of talking about Doctor Who to people now. So, are you going to? I'm assuming he means Doctor Who and not Doctor Hill.
Yeah, not Grange Hill.
Wolverine. Right. I will watch the 60th, and I'll see what happens with that. But after that, I'll make no guarantees. No guarantees. Although I'll be interested to find out if the rumor regarding the regeneration is true. I'll be interested to see if that's true and what that means going forward. That's something me and you have discussed, Gareth. Didn't we discuss that other day? But yeah, Andy looks vague. I'll just say the rumor is apparently,
and I believe I think I know what the rumor is vaguely.
It's the buy regeneration.
Is it buy one get one free, basically?
Yeah. So Tennant kind of stays as he is, but there's a split off regeneration, and it becomes Shooty. So it's like, we've got 3 Doctors now.
Just think that means that
Possibly
at the
4.
same time you could technically have 3 David Tennant Doctors.
Yeah.
Plus the
10.
daughter.
The Human, and the 14th.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. Yeah,
It's gonna,
yeah.
it's gonna make the reunions a bit awkward. They're gonna need a bigger table, you know.
But I'd be interested to see if that. I mean, I don't see what they'd hope to achieve by doing that. You know, from a narrative or story perspective, because it's kind of like you've kind of already done that really with the sort of like the meta crisis or whatever it was when he created the Doctor Donner and obviously the human 10th Doctor. You know, so you've already kind of done that. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a
You know what they're going to do?
What?
Well, a big traditional thing about Doctor Who at the anniversaries is that they have a multi-Doctor story. Well, in order to meet BBC budgeting, they're having a multi-Doctor story, but they can't afford to get all the Doctors in. So they're just going to have David Tennant playing 3 versions of the Doctor.
Well, no, just bring back the female Doctors, so then you only have to pay them half. Yeah.
Bring in K9. He'll work for chips.
Silica.
Nuts and bolts.
So no, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I'm kind of. I don't know. I'm kind of. I won't say that I'm over Doctor Who, but I'm kind of a bit indifferent about it now. You know, since Matt Smith left, I watched the first season with Capaldi and a bit of the second season. I watched the first episode with Dr. Karen, and then I just didn't bother much after that. You know, it's what's the term? No, you couldn't really apply jump the shark to it, could you? Really, it's just kind of like, you know, I don't know. So no, it didn't really. But like I say, it'll be nice to watch and see Tennant back and Catherine Tate, you know, because they were a good duo. But it just depends. There's just that whole. I don't know. It just my spidey sense tingles with it a bit, you know, with certain aspects of the storyline which are, you know, they're going to put in there, and you know, I think you know what I'm speaking about, and it's just like, oh no, just let it be fun, entertaining, you know, drivel.
It'll be drivel.
I think the problem is they've always got that temptation to keep going back to the tried and trusted villain of the week, you know, and because they know that people like that and it will get them viewers. But I think there does come a point where you can only recycle so far before it starts getting a bit wafer thin, you know, and it's like, you know, they need the new big bad or something, don't they? You know, just to try and keep it fresher, maybe. I don't know.
Problem is when
maybe
they overuse it. I mean, when they introduced the Weeping Angels, they were absolutely incredible, and I'll still say to this day that Blink is probably one of, if not the best episode of Doctor Who. It's really, really well executed all the way around.
Because it was new. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, people like them. Let's bring them back, and bring them back, and bring them back to the point where now it's like, even by the first time that they brought them back, it wasn't a bad storyline, but it was like, okay, then don't seem to be as scary now as what they were in the first one. And then it just got ridiculous when, Statue of Liberty is actually a weeping angel.
I don't think I've actually watched that.
It can only move when you're not looking at it. You're telling me that the entire city of New York had their eyes closed or were looking the other way while that was walking through the city?
And you know who's to blame, don't you? It's the bloody Ghostbusters that are to blame for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, either that or I think we need a return of the Absorbaloff. What's that?
No, I don't think I need to see Peter Kay running around in his skimpy outfit again. No, thank you.
Max Evolvo, did you say?
No. Wolverine had said that Blue Harvest is in love with Cosmic. Mark's in love with me. So Mark's agreeing.
Maybe he is.
Maybe he is. Oh, he's angling for a discount.
Yeah. He's just using you to get to your toys.
Exactly, yeah. That's all he wants from me. He only wants me for my toys. Oversaturation of a character can be a very bad thing. Yes, it can. It can. Yes.
What you need to do is, just mark the price up a little bit, so then you can reduce a little bit, and then you're still in front.
Shh, don't tell people my secrets. Hello, Rolando. How you doing? Oh, there he is.
That's been a while.
It's King Rollo.
King Willow.
Now, can you just about make out his profile picture there?
Is it tattoo?
That is his profile picture. It's like a midget baby looking thing, or a midget in a baby costume. Yeah,
it's the baby with a sombrero, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, with I'm guessing it's Rolando's face on the head there. Well, he'd sent that through to a WhatsApp group that I'm in. And when I don't know if it's the same on an Android phone, but on an iPhone, any pictures you get sent to your WhatsApp automatically go into your library. I was showing someone at the toy fair some pictures and just swiping through them, and then that popped up. And the look on their face, and then the shock horror on my face.
Yeah.
Unintended consequences. Yes.
And just at that point, Gareth's phone started ringing. Yeah, and unfortunately, it was Gary Glitter that was. Do you want to be in my gang?
That's Gareth's screensaver. No, not quite. That's my iPhone. So, well, actually, I don't know if Androids do that.
No, they do. They do. Definitely do. My Samsung does anyway.
But yeah, I did have to delete that message, that picture. Oh, right. What did we have?
So, how much did you manage to fit in your car from Doncaster then?
I didn't buy loads.
Okay.
I didn't buy
There's
loads.
definitely some. I mean, there's always good. I mean, I know there's always good stuff there, but
yeah, I need to rewatch that again because there was a few pieces on few stalls which were like, oh, I need to have a closer look at that. But the thing is,
straight past it.
It's probably a good thing that I don't go to toy fairs because I would be severely in debt.
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing. That's why I don't go with too much in my pockets because it's
right. I'll have that. Oh, I remember that. I'll tell you know. So yeah, it's that remote control jump starter piqued my interest. I might have to do a bit of research on that and look that up.
I've got at least. I mean, Gareth told me about that one because I've got about 3 different flavors of Topspin knockoffs. One's battery powered, one isn't, and different colors, different stickers. Just you know, so what they did to deserve that sort of treatment, I don't know. But there's a whole line of slightly different Topspins.
Yeah,
bizarre.
Those I'm aware of. You know, I'm aware of the all the different KOs and things like
that. Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful.
We'll get on with it then.
That's Twitch only, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so Rolando was on a live stream and Gap After Dark requests us to see the full picture. He wanted it in high def. Speaking of Star Wars, what do you think of Ezra getting jiggy with the Stone people?
What, the little Fraggle Rock people?
If I'm honest with you, I haven't thought about that at all.
Well,
not one tiny little bit.
When you're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Well, let's one thing. He's got the stones for it.
Yeah. Any hole's a goal when you're stranded in a galaxy far, far away.
Far away.
But who else is actually on that planet? Because there are clearly signs of other civilizations and stuff down there. So you do kind of wonder how those little guys and their little sort of low speed caravan-esque things actually ended up there. It's all quite random, isn't it? I mean, the whole thing's random.
Oh, do you not think it's a little strange that the Star Wars galaxy that we already know is a very, very big and very unexplored place? It's vast. And then you look at, well, in order to make this story work, we're going to have to go to another galaxy. So it's even bigger and even more vast. But we now find out that that's where the Dathomiri Witches originated from, that one planet. It's also the very same planet that those star whales go to die. It's also the planet that the father, the son, and the daughter apparently come from. And it's also the planet where this all-powerful thing is that Balaam wants. Is there what else happening in this galaxy, or is it just all on this one planet?
Maybe it's the source of the Force.
It's called the unimaginative mind of the writer.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to.
We're going to open up the Star Wars universe and give you a brand new galaxy. It's vast. There can be so much going on in this entire space. But no, it's all happening here.
Now, you see, I had a thought about this not long back, and I think there could have been a way to kind of circumvent or get round the whole Sabine thing. And that is, for some reason, something's different in that galaxy, which means that she can use the Force
a lot easier.
Yeah. But when she returns back to her native galaxy, she no longer has the ability to use the Force. Yeah. So people with the Force, when they go there, are enhanced, a bit more amplified, and then she's able to use it on a certain level, but not as much.
But enough to be able to throw Ezra across a chasm.
Yeah. It's just like,
someone's been watching me.
Doctor Who on a council estate.
Well, I keep complaining that Doctor Who's on the council estate, isn't it?
You are, Andy?
I was just thinking that I was just wondering whether or not there would have been any other differences in terms of them operating in a different galaxy. But I mean, all the ships seem to be quite happy with life, didn't they? Which I guess would make sense.
I suppose physics is physics, isn't it? I mean,
exactly. So, but like you say, the Force could potentially be impacted. I mean, I don't know.
Especially if it's where the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit are from. Like, it's sorry.
Yeah.
My latent Catholicism kicking in there. But so maybe because that's where they're from, that could explain why then Sabine is able to tap into it. Because really, I mean, she's no business being able to use the Force. It's just lazy. It's just self-inserting and trying to get, more female Jedi in there. And it's like, well, write some proper female Jedi there, and put them in it. Because I mean, apparently, Yoda couldn't have been more wrong in Return of Jedi than it's like, when gone am I, the last of the Jedi you will be. Actually, no, technically not. No, I think that the question we need to ask about Star Wars now is not how many Jedi survived, but how many Jedi were actually killed. Because at the moment, it doesn't seem like a lot of them were killed. The bloody to a penny.
The execution of Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith, for me, is probably one of the most emotional moments in the entire Star Wars saga. Yeah. The music in that little sequence gets me every time.
Yeah.
But the more Jedi that seem to have survived, that they keep... Every character in Star Wars is an invented character, I get that. But as they keep inventing more characters of Jedi that have survived that order of 66, it just seems to be weakening that moment in that film more and more and more. The Star Wars timeline, we already know that there's events been going on for 4,000 or 5,000 years beforehand. Tell some stories in that era.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
you
don't
want
get
to
me wrong,
tell
I'm
stories about Jedi, go back to them.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I understand that I would get that obviously you have Order 66, the Jedi Purge, and they're all killed, yeah? But I get and I fully understand that Force-sensitive people will be born after that.
Yeah.
But they never actually attain that kind of like, you know, level of ability to use it like what a Jedi would be able to use it.
It's
So
like
they go
Doogar out of Rogue One, isn't it? Because he was very Force sensitive, wasn't he? But he wasn't a Jedi per se.
That's right.
Because you sort of wonder, I suppose, don't you? It's kind of, if like Ahsoka, really, you know, if not everyone is actually Sith or light or, you know, sort of Jedi aligned, there could be quite a number of Force capable individuals knocking around the place who just haven't been trained for whatever reason, who slipped the net. So I mean, it's, you know, you can understand why you could get new people coming out who then, you know, maybe they feel the galaxy needs them to take up the mantle or whatever, so they kind of rekindle. I mean, presumably in the sequel trilogy, you know, that was what Luke was doing in the sense that he was going out and finding new Jedi potentiates sort of to bring in and sort of rebuild
that's what we expected.
So,
That's what we all expected, but we found out he was just hiding on a planet because he did a bad thing.
But he was building a new temple, though, wasn't he? He was building a training.
He's doing that in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But then whatever happens between him and Ben causes the destruction of that, and then he runs away to hide.
So I mean, to be fair, I mean, you've probably got a gap of what? Because I mean, he's already looking like old man Luke at the time that he tries to kill Ben. So maybe you've got a period of what, 20, 25 years maybe between Mandalorian and Force Awakens, or just pre-Force Awakens. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the time scales in between.
It is quite vague as a timeline. I mean, I took it that maybe about 30 years between Jedi and Force Awakens. But yeah, like I say, but when you see Luke doing that, he looks like old man Luke because he's all grey and beardy and stuff like that. So
there's definitely a colour still to his beard,
right?
In those flashback dream whatever sequences, there's a little bit of brown still in his beard and everything.
But we don't know what longevity is, though, do we?
No, we don't. I mean, look at Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
He went from Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness in 18 years.
Yeah, Tatooine aged him. You're just like, I mean, to be fair, I mean, it's all crap because there's those three films fundamentally just do not understand the characterization of Luke Skywalker. They've no idea. You know, the writers have no idea what makes Luke Luke. You know, and it's just like they've just basically gone in and wrote it and like, well, how do we sideline this guy? You know, how do we get rid of this guy? You know, how do we do this? And it's like, you know, you have to question when someone says, "Oh, these films were wrote and made by people who are passionate about Star Wars." It's like, well, what aspects of Star Wars are you passionate about? You know, because, you know, let's be honest, Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker are Star Wars. You know, it's all about them. You know. So, anyway, that's just me.
So we change the subject and look at a Lego set that isn't a Lego set.
Go on then, let's have a look at your not so Lego.
So this I didn't know of, but I wasn't looking for it. So I walked into this shop in North Wales when I was down there, and I came away with this. I see. Look, it's actually got a little Lego symbol there in the bottom corner. It is Lego. But I just thought I know what this stuff is. I've heard of it, but I never in my life thought I'd actually sort of find it and then find this in particular. 'Cause it's not even got a figure in it. But this is. I mean, I'll let me try and extract it. I mean, you can see on the back here. It looks for all the world as if it could be a Star Wars ship.
Mhm.
You know, it doesn't look any different to anything else. And there isn't a single Lego stud in sight on the entire thing.
There was a time when Lego were on the verge of bankruptcy. They were struggling like mad.
Yeah.
And they were literally just throwing any kind of shit at the wall to see what would stick.
I can never quite figure out exactly which way around it's supposed to go. So thrusters there, so it goes this way. And it opens up. Where does it open up? I can't even open the damn thing. It's that random.
I thought you said it was Lego. I don't look like Lego.
It is. But this was Lego trying to be something new and exciting for the kids. So you get a figure that would sit in there that was kind of vaguely-ish Lego, but this is solid. It's a solid hunk of plastic. And you can see my face on the video. I'm just going, what the? Because it is just completely not Lego in any way, shape, or form. There's no studs. There's no connection points. You get stuff that plugs into these little funny rubbery sort of sockets.
Out of curiosity, though, does the plastic feel like the same kind of plastic that Lego's made out of? Because it doesn't look like it.
No, I don't think it is. It's hard to describe it. It's just kind of it feels almost soft. It's not as smooth and shiny as normal Lego is either. It's almost more like vinyl, but it is. I mean, it's solid. It's strong, you know. But it's just so odd. It's so odd. You know,
Almost like an helmet.
Did that come out?
What
What
got
year
some
did
big
it come
missiles
out?
like that.
See, now Lego do use those missiles in their kits.
But this is big. This is
Yeah. You know, like
Yeah,
those
right.
big.
Mark,
builder
what
things.
year did it come out? What year?
around early 2000s, I think. Let me see if I'll see if there's a year on the box. Hang on. This is a good question because this, interestingly, I believe this was being developed at the same time as Bionicle, which saved them.
Yeah.
But this was another of their bright ideas, which just died basically. There was a cartoon, and they were trying to make it all interactive and all that sort of good stuff, you know. Elements not compatible with elements from the Galador action toy figure line. That's bizarre. 8315.
2002?
2002,
2002.
apparently.
Jumpy! Hello there, Mr. McClunky.
But yeah, I just saw it and it was like ridiculously cheap, and I thought that's unusual
Right.
for Lego.
So, apparently, it's a toy line to support a science fiction TV series that the Lego group put some funding and had some creation in. So it's not, I'd say by that, it's not technically Lego. It's a product from Lego, but it's not Lego.
Well, that's how I would describe it. It's the Lego brand applied to something else.
Yeah.
Really. You know, that is what it is. That's exactly what it is. But that's so off-piste for Lego conceptually.
Yeah. But I think maybe it's because, like I say, maybe it's Lego's on there because Lego funded this TV show. So the merchandise that's being produced from the show, obviously, I would say because of commercial rights and things like that, then it has to have the Lego name on it. Yeah, Galador, Defenders of the Outer Dimension.
Yeah. I think you have to say it in the sort of Defenders of the Outer Dimension sort of voice.
Yeah. It didn't last very long.
No.
Well, the toys lasted longer.
It says it just you can just make it out along there, Defenders of the Outer Dimension there. Yeah,
although
one.
the Michael O'Reilly, you may know him as Gowron, lends his voice to one of the characters.
His eyes trouble me. Yeah, his eyes trouble me. They always have them.
But yeah, no, it's an interesting thing. Does it feel like? I'm sorry, I don't know if you did get around to answering Gareth's question, but does it the plastic quality feel like Lego plastic quality, or does it feel quite cheap and flimsy?
Well, in fairness to it, it's not flimsy. It's you know I can press it and it's really really solid, but there's just something about it that isn't like a Lego brick. It may well be, but the thing is, of course, that you don't get. It's so huge and so sort of molded. It's not like it's got the edges that a normal Lego brick would have. So maybe it is. I don't know, but it feels softer somehow.
Right.
And yes, it's hard.
Is there a figure with it, Andy?
No, there isn't. Apparently, that was. But I had this conversation with somebody, I think, in the comments on the video, because we were sort of thinking, well, actually, in fairness, like if you think about Star Wars, I'm not sure that many Star Wars sets came with the figures, because of course the figures were sold separately. So you'd see them on the pictures, but you wouldn't have them actually in the craft. And this, I think, was very much supposed to support the figure line. Here we go.
There you go.
Lego's biggest flop.
The leg attachments on that human figure look absolutely atrocious.
Yep.
When they're attached to his waist.
The Lego attachments on this are bizarre, because it took me a while to figure out it's supposed to sort of stand up like this. So you've got attachments that go in here and here, and they're bizarre as well, because I couldn't figure out what angle it was supposed to sit at. Really odd. Really odd.
Oh, go away.
Rebrickable.
Right.
Got something I designed on there, actually. From back in the day.
It won't let me expand it.
Yeah.
Ow.
But I've no idea if that's the only.
Those figures look quite
That's
interesting.
the only action vehicle they did with it as a concept, But
but it appears that it must be modular, because you can remove the limbs and swap the arms and limbs about.
That is absolutely terrifying, and
it's like Bionicle, yeah. It's like that mutant thing from Toy Story. Do you remember?
Yes.
It's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, bless.
How bizarre. How bizarre.
Yeah, well, that was. I mean, it was such a random pickup that I just thought it was literally a tenner. But I just thought it was such a huge box. I was fascinated. So I thought I've got to.
Sorry. They paid you a tenner to take it.
Yeah, well, I felt I've cleared a space, if nothing else, that they can put something else in that might actually sell.
Right. Good God. Oof.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with that, Mark? Are you going to keep it, or are you just going to bin it or sell it on?
Good question. I don't know.
The thing is, he's going to have no choice to keep it, because he can put it up for sale, but that's a totally different thing to actually selling it.
Selling it, yeah.
Well, yeah.
As per my auctions, the way I'm looking at it at the minute, like 2 out of 28 are selling, so it's like, okay.
It's early days. You've only put it on yesterday.
I know.
Maybe offer it as a giveaway on one of your videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You too could have this really nice.
It reminds me of an Easter egg.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how many people may enter the giveaway.
Yeah, maybe fill it with chocolate. Just say, look, I'm doing this giveaway. Do it, tie it in with Easter next year. Do it as a giveaway. Fill it with chocolate buttons, and just say, there you go. Other chocolate brands are available. It could be some kind of failed Lego Kinder Surprise kind of effort.
Yeah. The thing is, it said it was incomplete, but actually, I think it's got pretty much everything apart from the fact that it ought to have another missile. There's only missing a missile. That's the only thing that's incomplete about it, as far as I can tell.
Sleep tight.
Well, I had a couple of pickups this week.
Go for your life.
You'd
like
like
to
buying
think.
toys.
They're not toys, I'm afraid.
Oh,
They're not toys.
Dun. They're computers.
So,
Spectrum!
no Spectrum. Although there is a Spectrum there. Oh, there's a white Spectrum. White. And next to, I've got my RC out for a little bit. I did a few photos with her
Yeah, I might get my RC out before bed.
earlier on. But,
He wants an RC. That's what he really wants.
Trailbreaker's keeping a company. He's
Aw.
a big, lovely hunk of metal. Is that guy? Anyway, no. So my things. Do you want to explode the screen and I'll show you what?
Go on then. How do we do it? That one? No.
Hello.
Yeah.
Here we are. Right. So the first pickup I've got is, well, they're all books. So I'll just get that out of the way now. They're all books. The first one.
Right then, are we off to bed?
This.
Hey, Jazz and Laserbeak.
That's unusual.
It is, yes. Now this was an exclusive for BHS stores.
Oh wow.
And it's essentially 2 stories in one book, and it's the Autobots Fight Back and Laserbeak's Fury.
So rather than just making the book a bit thicker, they've put them side by side.
Yeah, so they've done it in this kind of like really, it's a really nice format.
That's strange.
But you know, so it's there's nothing different. It's exactly the same artwork, same story. There's no cassette with it like you do get with the original, and it is produced by Ladybird. Well, Pickwick, you know, via Ladybird.
Mm.
But that was but I just saw it, and it was like, yeah, I'm going to get that. So that can go with my others, which are in my case here. This is my Ladybird book and cassette case, which is I've got that. Well, let me just read it out. Here we are. Yeah, so that would be
Good night. Sleep tight.
that's the Autobots Fight Back, and then that's the
Yeah, I think I've got Autobots Fight Back somewhere actually.
you know. So it yeah. So I mean it were cheap as chips. I thought, right, yeah, I'm going to get that. That
Do you know
can
where
go.
you still see those?
It's what,
Well,
sorry?
do you know where you still see those? Doctors' waiting rooms. Do you know how
Really?
doctors' waiting
You
rooms?
go to a doctor's waiting room?
But sometimes, well, in the olden days anyway, when they used to have waiting rooms rather than just a row of chairs, you know. But they used to have like a few. Well, a lot of my old toys went into one of these because you know they have sort of buckets. They just have like random old toys that have been donated to the surgery. But often the Ladybird books I found their way into things like that, you know. So you sort of went, I haven't seen that for years. And it's like because no one's ever bothered to throw them out or sort them or anything.
And then they leave in Andy's back pocket.
No, I'd never do that. Is Ed frozen? for you?
I thought it was my connection. Oh, well.
Looks like quite a happy Ed, but he does.
It does. It's a very. It almost looks like he's been highlighted as well. You know, he's being cut out.
Oh no, I know what you mean. I think that's just incident.
You know, you press and hold on a picture on an iPhone, it sort of like cuts the person out. This is very interesting.
Talk amongst yourselves. Maybe some time. Ooh.
I'm just going to mess around with us all now. He's gone.
Oh, he's gone now.
He's
He's
gone.
probably left us. No, that's harsh. Look, everybody got a new T-shirt. Look, woo.
Yeah, he's got a new T-shirt.
I've got a properly themed T-shirt. Look,
Mask.
available from a QWERTY near you. Yes. Until the license holder smacks him about the head.
He's back.
He's back. He's moving
no
again.
no idea what happened there. Sorry, chaps. Right, so yeah, the next book that I picked up.
This is what happens with you putting loading error at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Another
at
Transformers
that.
book, but this
Very
is
cool.
St. Michael's or Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
And this is an exclusive for Marks and Spencer's. I
Bumblebee,
love-
Wind Charger, and Prowl.
I love the artwork in this book. The artwork is phenomenal. I mean,
Is
it's
that-
like, you know,
It
it's
looks
just
it looks like he's got the Beast Wars logo on him.
that's the. Can you get it?
Oh,
Good.
I see. That's proper brawn. That's old school brawn.
Yeah. So the artwork on this is heavily influenced by the toy designs and the toy
But
art.
look at show that Brawn again,
Yeah.
because he does look.
Yeah.
I loved it when they gave him the original little arms like that. See, look, it's bob on, fair dues to them.
You know, and I mean, there's one horrific scene in it. Let me just get to the page. And I mean,
I remember being really excited by Brawn because his tech spec said he had like strength 9, but he was only like a little what, you know.
and it's literally wind charge crushing Starscream to death.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's cool, but I mean, wasn't oh god, now this is stretching my knowledge here, so you might know this better than me, Ed, but wasn't there which comics run was it? Not Dreamwave, one later than that, I think, where they had this concept of outliers, so that some bots had special abilities, and wouldn't Windcharger have fallen into that category?
I think
you know what I'm thinking of,
right? Yeah, I think it's IDW, and I think it's not load lifters. There's a term for them.
Yes, that like that, yeah.
But they're like yeah, they have like special abilities, or they're able to. I think it's
like non-affiliated.
What's his bloody name? I always forget his name because I don't like the concept. Minimus Ambus.
Yeah, Ultra Magnus
who dons the Magnus out. He's one. That's why he's able to don the Magnus armor, which I hated. That is no, stop that. But then I like the way that they've drawn Windcharger there. It looks like massively beefed up, and it's like, you know, so I'm just heading down this mountain to kick someone's ass, kind of thing, like, you know. So
I love that story with him and Ravage in it very early doors in the UK comics. Remember Auntie was playing up and they team up. I thought that was brilliant. I loved that.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, so that's the Marks and Spencer's exclusive transform. To my knowledge, they only did that one. I don't think Marks and Spencer's did another one. But if I'm wrong, I will own up and I'll add to that. And then the final book is something from. I've been looking for this book for a while because there's something in the book that I want to do because I've always wanted one. Even from being a young kid, I wanted one and I never had one. And now I have the means to have one.
You have the power.
And that is make your own posh paws. I can now make my own posh paws. I mean, anyone who doesn't know, Posh Paws was a staple on Swap Shop with Noel Edmonds.
Okay.
And he would sit on the desk, and I always wanted a Posh Paws. And when I was a young kid watching Swap Shop, it used to make my Saturday morning when Posh Paws would like growl and make noises and stuff. Because, you know, being a young kid, who didn't love dinosaurs? Yeah. And it's just like dinosaurs and robots, the two coolest things in the world ever. So yeah, so this is basically just it's a book that was wrote by the lady that designed them and made them. So there's all like it gives you all the patterns in there, so you can cut your fabric and make but you can't just not only Posh Paws, you can make all his friends. There you go. So there's all those ones that you can make. The Pteranodon and the Mammoth and the Dimetrodon, the Iguanodon. So I was just chuffed to bits when I got this. I thought, yes.
I just had a Moss Chops flashback. That's bizarre.
Moss Chops, yeah, I remember Moss Chops. But yeah, that's my third pickup of my trifecta of books.
I think we can agree, Gareth, that he should never, ever, ever, on any account, go to Doncaster when there was a toy fair going.
Yeah.
Ever.
What's that? Sorry, I missed that. What was that?
You should never, ever go to Doncaster when there was a toy fair on. Just don't.
I will try my best not to go. I will. I'll try my best not to go. The temptation is high.
You would love it. You would love it, but we'd have to take you in like Hannibal Lecter and just sort of roll you around on a trolley.
Yeah. You've no idea how close to the truth that would be. But yeah. So, but I mean, I think it's stuff like this. I think is a result of where my collecting sort of like ethos is at the moment. Because make no bones about it. It's all Transformers. Transformers and Spectrum stuff, and I've pretty much tanked off what I want. So it's now just picking up these little, just these little oddities, that kind of like spark something. I think, oh yeah, I'll have that, kind of thing. So, because the cheap bits, they're not really, they're not things that are going to be, of any value or anything like that.
No, but I mean, I think the thing is, I don't know. I mean, initially, I was probably sort of guilty of thinking, I wonder if this will be worth something someday, kind of thing. But it's like, if you just do it for that, then you're going to end up probably horribly disappointed and horribly out of pocket at some point. So there's very little point, isn't there? Really, I think you've got to do it. Well, I'm not saying you must, but if you do it just for the love of the memories and everything else, and just discovering new stuff. I mean, that's why I love watching, the sort of videos that Gareth and others do when you're just kind of wandering around places, because you just see stuff that you wouldn't otherwise see. I mean, I do find that eBay is very, very good at throwing stuff at me, and I often curse it vociferously because it will sort of suck me in that way because the algorithms are so damn clever. But equally, it's nice to do a little bit of legwork and just, get yourself out and go and have a mooch about and just see what's what, because it's fascinating, the sheer variety of stuff that, there must have been, how many people did these industries support in the 80s? Because when you think about the volume of stuff that was being put out, even down to knockoffs and stuff. Obviously, I know a lot of it's imported, but some of it must. A lot of it was homegrown, I suppose.
I've got my red hat on, so I might as well say, "Make Britain great again."
Or make Britain make stuff. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I completely agree because when I were a kid and you bought stuff, it was. I would say it wasn't the norm. Most stuff that you got, maybe not smaller toys or things like that, but a lot of stuff, it was made in England or, or was printed or bound in England or things like that, obviously, then getting towards more the mass-produced stuff and things like that, you'd have like made in Taiwan or made in China or things like that. But, I think a lot of the earlier stuff, like Dinkies and Corgis were all made here, Lesney, they were made here, so it's... I made Britain great again. But yeah, and I think that I don't know. I think there's something. There's a lot of nostalgia tied up in stuff like this, But I think also as well that there's just something else about it that maybe, like I said, because maybe it's not because a lot of people think to collect that kind of stuff. And hence, it ends up in doctor's surgeries or stuff like that. But I've got the questions that just come to mind, and I need to ask Gareth it. Did you win it?
Did you win it?
And he knows what I'm talking about. He's got a smile on his face, so I'm assuming yes, you did. Were you happy?
Yeah. I was shaking.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was very, very happy, and I was sat where we are now. As you just video called me, hadn't you? I painted miniatures. I couldn't paint for another half hour after I'd won that auction because my hand was just
right
shaking. So yeah, I won it. I would have liked to have got it maybe 50, 60 quid cheaper, but
right.
It's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be I think that might get a video of all of its own.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So I won't spoil it just yet.
No, I'm going to say don't spoil it, but that sounds interesting.
That's good. Yeah. I'm glad you got that. I'm
Yeah.
happy that you
So
got that.
I don't have anything to show today, but that will change. But I've got something to show, but it's not for my collection. Ed already knows about it. It's going to be something that's going into his collection.
Is it?
So yeah. I sent you a little picture of it, didn't I?
Oh yes, sorry, yes you did, yeah. Yeah.
I think.
A Transformers pencil with Skywarp on it.
Sweet.
It came in with a load of stuff, and it has been sharpened down a little bit. And I'm like, I think I know someone who might just like this. So yeah, next time I'm up your way, I'll drop that off.
No, I'll put it with my my Transformers marbles.
Transformers marbles. You have Transformers
Yeah.
marbles.
I nearly
Yeah,
got some Go. No, was it? Which ones? Oh, no, I think it was GoBot. What was it? GoBot marbles I saw the other day. I'm trying to think now.
They did do GoBot marbles as well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's the same company that did them because the way that they're made is identical, and it's literally it's the toy box artwork on a piece of paper, and then the two halves of the sphere glued together.
Give me a minute.
Go for it. So
He's off to hunt for something, I think.
he is, yeah.
Yeah.
Either that, he's going to pull a Mooney.
Well, what be fun? Do you think would YouTube let us watch one of Gareth's videos on this? I wonder.
I don't know.
I
suppose you're showing your own channel, so I don't see it being an issue. I wouldn't see it being an issue. But
it'd be quite good fun to actually sort of do a sort of joint commentary on like his Doncaster walk round.
Yes, yeah. I see. Kind of like a like a commentary like you get on the DVD. Film commentary,
Special feature.
Yeah, special feature. But yeah, no, there's there was quite a lot of things.
I think I actually got him from Gareth's, but he's
Right.
one armed, sadly. And I've got an Outback over there who's also one armed, so I could knit them together, I suppose. But
I think you'll find the different arms.
Okay, challenge accepted.
Oh, he's going now.
Right, actually, even from this distance. Oh yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right.
Who would have thought the Transformer Collector was right?
I know,
Yeah.
funny that, isn't it?
It's funny that, aye. It is funny.
But they obviously decided to go more anthropomorphic with the second edition of his.
Yeah.
But I mean, otherwise, isn't he? Is he identical?
Yeah, the only thing that's different is the face sculpt and the colour. And also with Outback, he came with a gun that you slotted into the top.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
He couldn't
But
hold
ironically,
it.
he's missing an arm as well, so I've got a theme going. It's like,
Yeah. So, he came out in 86. He was part of the 86 Minibot lineup with the retool of Windcharger and the retool of Gear.
But I remember thinking at the time, that looks like him, only in different colours. So even then, I was starting to clock that was a thing that they did,
Yeah, so the retool of Windcharger was Tailgate, and the retool of Gears was Swerve. But yeah, they were part of the 86 lineup that contained Wheelie. We shall
with
not
the lid
speak of him.
face. Yes,
He's back.
He's back. Yeah, that's not something outside. Something I do collect, but I don't normally share with you. But go on, you were talking, so fill me in.
No, we were just Andy was just showing me his brawn.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll do then is, Andy, I will show you because you may be interested.
What were you discussing? You were just discussing brawn.
I've just been put in my place because obviously I made the schoolboy error of suggesting that you could interchange Brawn's arm with Outback's
they're very
arm,
different.
when in fact they are completely different arms.
Very different, yes. It's Outback, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, Outback.
Yeah.
Yeah, retool from 86. So you look at that,
Chat's still quiet.
and then that's what you get now.
Yeah.
That's your brawn now.
Yeah. They've really
Quite
properly
impressive.
given him beefed up. Because I mean, that's like cartoon Brawn, isn't it? And well, comics Brawn, I suppose, as well these days, of course. But see,
Yeah.
originally, my Brawn is very much that Brawn in my head because the UK comic was that Brawn, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, don't you think? I can't. Whenever I see Brawn, I can't help think of Man at Arms.
Yes.
I mean, they've just done a He-Man Turtles crossover, haven't they? And it's like maybe they should do a Transformers
But-
He-Man, you know.
But
And
like that is more like a Cylon.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, you see, that's the thing, right? This, excuse me, this Fans Toys one, yeah, it has swap out faces, so you can swap, you know, and have different expressions. I think they've missed a trick because I think they should have done a toy version faceplate to put in, you know, to make it look like toy version, you know, because it's just basically a plate with a black visor,
Yeah.
you know. But no, sorry, Gareth, what have you got to show us, young man?
Well, first off, last time I went to the Lego shop,
All right,
it was literally a set that I never expected to see. It's not something that I'm particularly interested in, but I'm just like, God, that is so unusual. Hang on.
Yeah, you put yourself on the.
But
Yeah.
like, I just thought it's so unusual. I'm having it.
he's not a Lego Tom Jones, is it?
So unusual to be loved by anyone. That's
All
just
right.
really bugs.
Good old ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought it was a really interesting idea.
You can get like sort of plants and all sorts that they've done from the ideas
botanical
range as well.
Yeah.
So is that some? Oh right, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I was just about to say is that some kind of subline, but yeah, it's the Lego Ideas, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's a
So that-
subline of the Lego Ideas.
Right. So it's the subline of a subline.
So it's Lego Ideas,
Yeah.
but it's the first in the insect collection.
Right then.
Oh, they've grouped them. Okay.
Yeah, because they also have the botanical collection, which you mentioned, which is all the flowers.
Got you.
But yeah, it's when I was in the Lego store, they actually had one of these out in one of those cases built up, and each one of them is about that big. You know, each one's substantial.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought it was quite interesting and cool, so I picked that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't normally show you my Blu-rays.
You what?
Blu-rays.
Blu-rays. There you go.
Yes.
And this is what I have a bit of a thing for Arrow Video Blu-rays because they do really good. They seem to pick some really bizarre titles and do
And evolve
really
them.
good remasters of them. And they also have this habit of bringing a box set out. You pre-order it, and then within a week of release, it's 45% off somewhere. So I thought I'd learned, and I was going to stop pre-ordering. And they did a pre-order for this box set, and it's called Enter the Video Store: Empire of Screams. And I'm like, now there's only really one in there that I've ever seen. I'll wait until it gets reduced. Sold out at launch.
Oh, bloody hell. Right. Okay.
So 50
Always
quid
the
box
way.
set, 50 quid box set very quickly became 75 to 100 quid online. Yeah? And I was like, I'm not paying it. I am not doing that. So I kept adding them to my watch list. And apparently, because this is the limited edition, they're now bringing out an unlimited edition. And I think the only difference is you don't get the book with it and the slipcase. And now, because of that, the price on the limited edition has come down because they're going to be available again.
Yeah.
So I managed to pick one up on eBay for 50 quid, which is the original price of it. So it's got
Patience is a virtue.
I mean, the box is quite nice as well.
Yeah, it's
Obviously,
interesting.
it's got the sleeve, the slick sleeve, and then it's in another box with monsters fighting around the back of the shop. And inside you get your book, which tells you all about the films that's in this set.
Okay.
And they're all MGM titles on this set.
Yeah.
So there's the Dungeon Master.
Okay.
Trying not to get the glare, sorry. There we go.
Yep,
The
got
Dungeon
that.
Master.
Okay.
I think these are all 80s films. Dolls.
Okay.
And I've never seen these.
No, not ringing any bells with me yet.
Cellar Dweller.
Cellar Dweller.
And I love the artwork that they put on them as well.
Oh, the catalogues in that day were incredible.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think it's all new artwork.
Oh, right, okay.
Arena.
Arena.
And the one that I have seen.
Hey, Robot Jocks.
Oh, I heard that then, Ed. You've seen this one, haven't you?
It's Pacific Rim with fewer kaiju.
It certainly is.
Right. Would you be surprised to learn that no, I haven't seen Robot Jocks?
Really?
No. I've seen bits of it, but I've not actually sat and watched the whole film, no.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's an awesome piece of 80s mecha tosh.
It's like, don't get me wrong. It was one of those films that I would see regular on the local shop's shelf, rental,
Yeah.
But I was too busy renting Terminator and RoboCop.
But the thing is, for me, it had me at robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do without the jocks.
Yeah. So no, I shall endeavour to watch it.
Yeah, why not? Maybe I'll bring it up and we can watch it together.
Yeah, I'll be happy for that. Yeah. Have you watched Robinson Crusoe on Mars yet?
No.
I remember seeing it when I was quite little.
Yeah.
Did he came up with he found a way to make oxygen or something, didn't he?
Yeah, there's these like rock pools in caves that give off oxygen, and then there's these like plants that grow, and they're almost like sausages, and you can eat them.
Okay.
Adam West is in it, but he gets killed off right at the beginning. I think if I remember right, I think it's his first movie appearance, and he's like the co-astronaut, the co-pilot astronaut, and he gets killed at the beginning.
That's reminded me of Enemy Mine as well.
Yeah, Enemy Mine's a cracking film. I love
That's the favourite of Ed's, is that?
It is, yeah. I've been to the studio where they made that. That's yeah.
That's cool.
Bavaria Film Studios. I do have a Blu-ray on order though, and I'm looking forward to it coming. And that's it's one that you might like, Gareth. And I don't know if you've seen it, but maybe again we can watch it if you come round. And that's The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Yes, I have seen that. It's a couple of years ago now. That's one that I watched after I'd done my big Godzilla marathon.
Yeah,
I went and bought that because obviously it's what inspired.
Yeah. It's sort of like but I those are films that I remember much like Andy watching as a young kid.
I do have to be honest. I do recall that I fell asleep halfway through it.
Right.
That's probably because I put it on at some stupid time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a typical 50s schlocky kind of monster film, but it's a Ray Harryhausen, and it's like, it's just, I love all that stop motion stuff, so.
Oh, yeah.
But it's one of those, and it was one of those that I remember from childhood, but it kind of drifted out of my immediate memory, if you will.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until when I picked up that new age legend scale sludge, which is a Brontosaurus, but they've named, because they can't call it sludge because of obviously copyright and things like that, they've called it Redosaurus, which is the name of the beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah. And so it kind of like, but I love how things like that can set you on a path. Just something innocuous comes in, you think, oh yeah, and then you remember something, and then but it always ultimately ends up you ending up buying something.
Which will then spawn into something else that you buy.
Yes,
and
yeah.
Something else, and something else, and something else.
That's the only one that I've got to hand.
Oh,
yeah.
You managed to, I thought you said you couldn't get this.
No, this was the last Starfighter was the one I was struggling
Oh,
to find, but this I've had for a little bit now. But it's an interesting one because as far as I'm aware, this was like an HMV exclusive. It's in their premium collection, and I don't know particularly why, but again, it's a nice remaster of it. Yeah.
If you're showing something, let's stick you on big screen.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
big telly. There we go.
Silly.
Krull.
So yeah, Krull.
Still need to see it. I do need
This
to
is
see
40 years old now. This as well.
It's all
yeah,
right.
it's what they call is it? It's Lizette Anthony, isn't it?
Lizette Anthony, yes.
Yeah, Lizette Anthony. Yeah, I thought it was.
Right,
She,
I'm going back
yeah.
on big telly.
Ken
I
Marsden.
think that was the one that I think, if I recall, I think she did an interview with Wogan or something like that. And I think it was like the one that she thought was going to break through in America, for movies and films and stuff. But I don't know if it did or not.
Well, it's got Liam Neeson in it. It's got half of the Grange Hill cast in it for no apparent reason.
Well, it's got if it's the right one, hasn't it got Bernard Bresslaw in that plays the Cyclops?
I don't know the actor's name, but yeah, the Cyclops was quite an important character in it. In fact, I was thinking about Ray Harryhausen. There was a Cyclops model at Doncaster, wasn't there, that you saw?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but yeah, it is.
That looked nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Bernard Bresslaw. Yeah, I thought it was, and Robbie Coltrane as well.
Yeah, surprising number of really well-known people in it for how obscure it is, But that was the one I was talking about the other week, wasn't it? And that they didn't get toys for.
That's right. Yeah,
I have seen people make. I think there are people who do the glaive. So
have
you got something else, Gareth, to show?
Yeah, I've got that.
I apologise, I didn't realise you were.
That box set came last week, and then today I had another delivery of Arrow Blu-rays because Arrow have one of their famous sales going on at the moment. So I picked up The Stuff.
Right, okay.
Just because I never heard of this film, but that cover looks mental.
Yeah, he looks like he's had a rough night in the Blue Oyster.
Nice.
One thing about Arrow films, if you saw them, you might as well buy them online, because if you saw them in the shop and you pick them up and think, that looks interesting, let's see if there's any pictures of what's happening in the film.
Oh.
No.
Wall of text.
So can I just quickly ask, Gareth, is this Arrow entity, is it like a subsidiary of MGM then, is it?
No. Not as far as I'm aware. They do all sorts of studios. It's just that box set happens to be all MGM.
Right. So what do we think the arrangement is then? Do we think that they license these movies to release from the studios or what?
They will do. Yeah, they will do. But they very frequently go for movies that either haven't had a release in a long time or will benefit hugely from being remastered. And they tend to do a very good job of remastering them. Which it's nice that there's a company out there restoring old films like this. It's films that people wouldn't really give two shits about.
Can somebody just do a quick search, because the Guardian has mentioned that there is a sequel to Robot Jocks, and I believe he's correct. But I think there was also another film that was done with a very similar effects style. So I think there's effectively like a little trilogy of them, but I don't think they actually explicitly link back to Robot Jocks. But I know which one he means, because I'm not sure I've seen all the Crash and Burn, but I've seen clips of it.
Right, Crash and Burn was I'm going to start that one again. Crash and Burn was officially titled Robot Jocks 2 in most European markets at the time of release.
Interesting.
But was renamed when re-released on DVD. Despite the same title, same opening theme music, and involvement of Charles Brand and the reused cover art, the plots of Robot Jocks 2 Crash and Burn and Robot Jocks are completely unrelated.
Yes, that.
So it's not actually a sequel to it.
No,
It's a
no,
1990
in no
film.
way.
Yeah.
But I
just managed
thought
to get the
there was-
license to use the name. Why?
Good question. Well, because it was the same guy involved, I think that's why. But I'm sure there was a third. I remember there being one that had like some sort of scorpion robot in it. So I don't know which one that was.
Well, there's a third one apparently called Robo Warriors.
Robo Warriors. Interesting. Robo Warriors.
Is Ed back with us yet? Nope, he's gone.
That wasn't the one I was thinking of, I don't think.
But I'm not convinced that that's got any actual connection either.
No. I know the one I'm thinking of, but I'm not sure. I can't remember enough about it to find it, I suspect. I used to see it in the video store all the time, but I was never sure they actually picked it up. Giant robot double feature. Oh, Robot Wars. Yeah, Robot Wars was the one I was thinking of.
Oh, the BBC might have had something to say about that one.
Well, they wouldn't these days. That predates it.
Does it?
Pretty sure it does. Where are we?
When did Robot Wars come about?
I need an IMDb for Robot Wars now, don't I?
British television from '98.
Hang on, bear with. Right. TV series. Oh, 1993? Was it that late? Oh, apparently it was. Yeah, Robot Wars 1993. Oh, and it's the cover art says first there was Robot Jocks.
There you go then.
Then there was Robot Wars, apparently.
Okay.
You can watch the trailer. Awesome.
I see what you mean about the scorpion thing, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. What else has he said? Krull, I'm missing that from my premium collection. So yeah, there's the stuff. Just like I said, because that cover looks absolutely bonkers. He's back. And then another one again, purely because the cover looked bonkers. The Weird and Wonderful World of Eugeka, Violence Voyager, and Burning Buddha. So there's 2 films in this. It's another weird Japanese one.
It feels like the sort of stuff Jonathan Ross would have been into.
Possibly. But they are actually yokai. Which, do you know what yokai are?
I do not.
Essentially,
Yokai.
they are Japanese folklore demon-stroke creatures.
Okay.
Essentially, I would say that the most popular yokai you would be aware of are Pokemon. Another one, just the title alone sounded bonkers. Punk Samurai. I've never heard of any of these. Well, I've heard of this one, but never seen it. Hiroka the Goblin.
Okay.
It's another one I'm looking forward to having a watch. There's another cover for this one, and I prefer the other cover, to be honest with you, but that wasn't on sale. And Tetsuo 1 and 2. The Iron Man and Body Hammer. Oh, he's aware of that one.
I'm aware of that one.
In fact, your eyes looked very much like those then.
Yes. And so will yours when you start watching it.
Really? Do you want to tell me a little something about it then without spoiling it? No, obviously not.
I think it would be tricky to not spoil it because it's very much focused on. Let's say it's about a transformation and leave it at that.
Okay. Well, Ed might like it as well then.
Don't eat anything substantial before you start watching it, as I recall. if it's what I'm thinking of anyway, but yeah.
And then the last one that was in that that order is the Mad Fox, which again it's another Japanese one. In fact,
that looks
it's not
interesting.
the same director, is it? Oh,
I mean, I went through a sort of. Have you ever seen Nausicaa Valley of the Wind?
of course I have.
Of course you have.
Of course I
But
have.
that
What kind of heathen do you take me for?
But that I got from my local VHS rental video store, would you believe?
Those were
Way
the
back
days.
before anime was ever cool. I've no idea why it existed in my local video rental store before Manga Mania and everything else started kicking off. The manga video wasn't a thing then. But I have this very, very clear, it really left an impression on me when I was little, as you might expect, watching that when you were quite, like I was probably like 7 or 8, probably watching it. Because it looked like a cartoon. It looked like any other Commonwealth Garden cartoon, but of course it's a Ghibli. So it was like, so much more than that. And it wasn't until I got that much older that I realized what its origins were. So I'm not even sure I'm not even sure what it was called when I picked it up. But it was that. So, yeah, just really, 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 really nice film if you're not familiar with it.
Studio Ghibli stuff really is outstanding.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking, I would say, to some extent. It's a strange thing because I can remember in my younger days, I used to look at it as, it's the Japanese Disney. It so isn't. It so is. That is an insult to Studio Ghibli. Have you ever watched any?
Are they the ones that, not all of them, but in some of their animations, don't they draw people to look like dogs or cats or something? Because they all just look like they've got whiskers.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I know what you mean as well. Yeah.
That's quite prominent in Porco Rosso, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've not seen. I mean, I have seen one or two of them, but I couldn't tell you what they were called.
Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle,
Princess Mononoke.
I don't know. There was one. I think one was something about. Was it kind of like a wooden fortress town city or something that they went into and they did something and then they came out and I don't know. I'd have to look. There are one or two I have seen, but it's a long time ago, and
there's so many that I haven't seen.
Right. I'm sure I haven't seen them all.
I've only seen a handful. I'm certainly no expert.
Right. But I remember
I just know that what I have experienced of it has been top quality.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the same as the Godzilla stuff. I mean, I've seen quite a few of the Godzilla films, but I don't recall them well enough to tell you which ones there were. I'm talking about. Well, it's over. What? It's probably going to be in the 90s, maybe early to mid 90s, maybe. And definitely, I think
most of the Godzilla films will have been out.
But Channel 4 did a big season of them.
That's
I remember
what I'm
catching a lot of them on Channel 4.
Yeah, Channel 4, Channel 5, wasn't it? They showed like late at night, wasn't there? So there was some that I watched on there, but like I said, because
did they play them in English or with did they play them dubbed or subbed?
That's interesting. They
I
might have been subbed. They might have been subbed, some of them, I think.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, because they were definitely doing. I mean, they did the full. Because I remember seeing sort of like Mecha Godzilla for the first time off the back of that series and stuff. Mothra and sort of. So yeah, I mean, they did a lot. But then again, there were ones that I also picked up from my VHS store as well. So I think that when I first saw Monster Island, that was through a VHS pickup.
Benjamin is so right about this one.
-1.
Yeah.
What's
If
-1?
you haven't yet seen the trailer for Godzilla -1,
Oh,
do yourself a favour because it looks absolutely outstanding. I'm so pained at the prospect that we won't get it on general release over here at the cinemas. I really, really want to go see this one. It looks amazing. It really, really does.
well, do you know the Everyman cinemas?
Yes.
I believe that you can get them to screen something for you. I've no idea how much it costs, but I think you can actually sort of say, if they can get hold of it, then you can get like a screen dedicated to it for you. But so effectively you hire the cinema, for the screen.
We could do a Cosmic Toys outing. We could.
If we do it, they will come. Yes.
Yeah. So you can see how good he looks.
I'm just looking at some pictures now. He looks a bit. He's a bit chunky, isn't he?
He looks amazing.
I saw a clip of one where look at that. I saw a clip of one where he was made out of like little skeletons and stuff.
Oh, that was Shin Godzilla.
Okay.
That was the last time that we actually got Godzilla from Japan. And
right. Okay.
throughout the film, all the way throughout the film, Godzilla's evolving. And just as they destroy him, which they effectively turn him into a big statue, somehow paralyze him and whatever, turn him to stone or something. They zoom in at the end of the film to his tail, and his tail sort of like, it looks like it's splaying out, and it's human-sized skeletons of Godzilla, and apparently that was going to be his next evolution. I hate it. Most people hate it.
Can I just ask the question then, because I don't know. I don't know this, and maybe other people that's watching it don't know. But I'm not talking about the new, monarch kind of Godzilla. I'm just speaking about the Japanese Godzilla films.
Okay. Yeah?
So all the Japanese Godzilla films, yeah. Is it supposed to be the same Godzilla that's in every one of them? Are they supposed to follow on from each other, or is it just separate, different stories each time?
Right. You have the original 1954 Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of that film, spoilers, at the end of that film, they managed to kill him.
Right, okay.
And he's dead. He's very, very dead. Every other of the Showa era, which ran until 74, I think it was 74, they're all supposed to be the same continuity.
Right.
And they get sillier and sillier, and they take continuity, they treat it very loose. The continuity, it goes from becoming a bit of a horror film and a political statement to becoming a kids series, because they realised how much kids like playing with Godzilla toys and coming to the cinemas to see these kind of films. So it turns into that. But then they reboot Godzilla again in 1984, and that's a sequel to the original Godzilla film. Everything else is not canon, to use a modern term.
So the original one where he got killed?
Yes.
So he survived?
No. It's another of his species. It's another Godzilla.
Right.
And
Godzuki,
yeah, it could well be. It's never really explained as to whether or not it's his child or anything.
Right.
And then the next film is again a remake, a sequel to the original film. And they tend to go through a phase of, every time they bring a new film out, even if it's just the year after, it's forget the last one, it's a sequel to the original. Forget the last one, it's a sequel to the original. There's a few exceptions. So there's one where it's considered it's a fan favourite Godzilla film, which is Biollante, with the 1989 one. and the next film after that there's ramifications in that from what happens in Biollante. So obviously that's continuing. And then at a later date, we get some more where there's an obvious sequel. So I think it's one of the Mechagodzilla. Yeah, there's 2 Mechagodzilla films. They call him Kiru in that. And the Mechagodzilla is actually made around the bones of the original Godzilla.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and the spirit of Godzilla ends up taking over Mechagodzilla in that.
Oh.
So yeah, they are all. They're not all in the same continuity at all.
Right.
Jumpy has news.
Jumpy has news. Glasgow-based distribution outfit Anime Limited showing from 15. I ain't going up to Glasgow. I really want to see it, but I ain't going up there.
We'll be showing in selected
they will
theatres. I think he means generally.
Let's have a look.
I think the company is based in Glasgow, but it's going to be.
What's it? Anime Limited. Have a look.
A bit cold.
Anime Limited Company. It is based in Glasgow. Oh, I better pause that. It's going to start playing music that will get me locked up. Sign up for updates at godzillafilm.co.uk. Coming to UK cinemas from the 15th. Okay. Thank you, Jumpy.
Good shout.
Cosmic Toyman. Should do this after the stream, to be honest with you, but I know I'll forget.
Well, while you're doing that, then I think we should take a moment to basically wish a happy birthday to Starfleet.
Indeed.
Who had their birthday recently. If we watch the intro, this amazing show.
I see you wearing those
Barry
rose-tinted glasses again.
41 years young now. In fact, older than that because it came out in Japan beforehand. But I'm Sarah Hagen. I'm John Lee.
And I'm Barry Hercules, Doc.
Bow, bow. Captain Makara, Captain Orion.
There's the big guy.
Big Guy X.
Who doesn't turn up until far too late, and then
Episodes 4 and 5. He's a super secret top weapon. Yes. That next impulse.
So there we go. Yes, happy birthday.
I'm quite excited about that. I am. Yes.
But yeah, cracking show.
Indeed.
I haven't gone back to it yet. Did the first 2 discs worth?
Okay.
So I gave it a good chance, a really good chance. But I was struggling with it. I was flagging.
You're flagging. Thing is, I mean, they're quite nice bite-sized episodes as well. The sort of thing. What I don't get is why Netflix or someone doesn't show it, because I would have thought it would fit in well with the sort of anime stuff that they do.
Possibly. Maybe
but I think it struggles because it's
really
puppet.
benefit from being cleaned up, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have done little bits with it, but part of the problem I think is that I'm not sure the masters are in very good shape, so it would take someone doing a really good. I mean, there are fan cleanups of it. You know, I know for a fact that they exist, but then the problem is what they have to do is they tend to have to take the footage from things like laser discs, and then they've got to marry that with English soundtracks. They've got to try to bring the two together, and that's You've got
Can I
different frame
just make a point
rates. and-
though? Can I just make a point though? It's like
Yes.
I personally don't think stuff like that should be cleaned up. I think part of the
Ah.
part of the nostalgia and part of the draw of it is watching it how it looked when you watched it as a kid. Yeah, because that's what it did look like when I watched it when I was a kid.
What,
You know, it
fuzzy
wasn't.
as fuck?
What? Sorry.
Fuzzy as fuck.
Well, I suppose in a sense, yeah, because it were on an old style TV. You know, it's on an old style TV. It was so like, you know, it wasn't. They weren't showing it from masters or anything like that. You know, it was just.
Well,
I think there's something. There's something, I don't know. I won't say nostalgic, but there's just something authentic about watching it how it was when you saw it originally.
Good night, Jumpy. You take care, mate.
I think
Do you like Jumpy?
the only thing I will say about that, and I do sort of take the point that you're making in principle, but I think the difficulty that you have is that because modern sets are so bloody big, the glitches get amplified out of all proportion as compared to what you originally watched it on. So for me, you know, I come from watching something that's been produced in modern days, so it's like, you know, absolutely gorgeous, and then you get sort of little things that are just getting thrown at you because they look so big on the modern screens. You know how you would have just kind of not really noticed on a smaller screen, but now when they're sort of up in your face, it's kind of very difficult to ignore them, I think. And it's going to be made worse by the fact that if they don't have good quality to start with and they're getting blown up in the first place, you know, I mean, I completely get what you're saying. I mean, I think there's definitely an argument to say, you know, you should actually reproduce it in so that it feels the same as it did. I think it's just quite a tricky thing to do. I mean, just going from analog to digital, you know, it's tricky, I think, in that sense sometimes.
You know, because I mean, it's like because I have the kind of same opinion when it comes to like 80s movies. If I say like, you know, say something like, I don't know, The Breakfast Club or St. Elmo's Fire or The Sure Thing or things like that. I've got those, but I specifically went and just bought the box standard original DVD release, you know, because I wanted that authentic kind of like how it looked back then kind of feel to it, rather than getting a nice, polished, uprated, upscaled whistles and
You
bells.
can always get it on VHS if you want that.
Well, some of them I do have, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, I've got a VHS player, and I would love to, you know, but it's not something I've thought about picking up VHSs to watch them. I would do, you know, but it's like, you know, I just think with older films, because they were never filmed in a way that makes them conducive for upscaling, you know, they're never going to be.
I'm not saying
Not
they should
if you get
upscale it.
negatives. If you can
I'm
get
not saying they should
negatives, you
upscale
can.
it at all. But just clean it up so that it doesn't look so grainy and hard to watch some of it.
I think that's the difference, isn't it? It's the difference between repairing it and enhancing it.
Yeah.
That's the difference, isn't it? It's kind of, you know, you want it so it's watchable, yes, absolutely. But do you then go beyond that and actually make it really AI enhanced or whatever you do with it these days? You know, I mean, I've still got Starfleet on VHS. I've got some compilation tapes and stuff, you know, that they put out. But again, unless you had the American tapes that I've since passed on, you couldn't get the full series on VHS here.
No.
So, you know, all we had was the fan, the fan compilations that people had done. That's all you could get for the longest time until I helped to do that DVD release that came out years back now, you know. And there've been many releases since then. The French, I think it was French Video was very good. So they had quite a nice clean copy of it, but obviously completely different soundtrack and obviously completely different language. So that was the thing. We've got lots of different sources, but they're not necessarily
combine the two though. Combine the two. You can combine the French visual with the English audio.
Yeah. And these days, you know, it's far more doable than it was when I was first involved with doing my site and everything else. When it was, you know, that was. I mean, I remember when I was trying to do it and make myself for reference purposes. like a video CD kind of version of it. And that took every inch of my Pentium 166. It was like melting, you know, and it took hours. And and I had just a little tiny bit of cleanup added to it as well, just to sort of denoise it a touch. But I mean, that took all the resources that I had available to me just to get vaguely near it, and that was nothing resolution wise, you know. So yeah, I mean, you know, these days it would definitely be doable, but again, it's just finding someone who would feel that there was commercial worth in doing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a rights issue as well with why it's not turned up on Netflix or Amazon or anything like that.
Well, I mean, for the longest time, and again, this was part and parcel of what I helped people with, because I used to get inquiries to my site saying, "Do you know who holds the rights?" And eventually, we did figure out. In fact, I mean, I was searching the web back when it was very, you know, unusual to be doing so, and we tracked it down that Inoki Films in the USA were the people who held the rights, because they were the last ones off the back of the US VHS release. They had the distribution rights at that point. So then Fabulous Films here in the UK got the license from them to release it in the UK on DVD for the first time. And that's how it all then started getting sort of brought back in again. But of course, that's spread so far and wide now. You know, there's so much nostalgia stuff getting reissued that's now normal. But at that point, it was a little bit novel.
Yeah.
You know, but that was interesting. It was an interesting detective thing to sort of try and drill through and figure out.
Yeah.
You know, does the company still exist? Even can you still talk to these people to actually be able to resurrect it? And it's amazing how they just have this sort of ridiculous sort of ghost life where you come to them like 15 years down the line and somehow they still exist. And you can still do stuff with them, you know. But
Yeah.
it isn't. I mean, you know, and eventually, I suppose it'll fall into public domain in the US, perhaps, and then things will happen with it again or whatever. But we're just not quite there yet, because copyright for this sort of thing tends to last quite a long time. So yeah.
And speaking of detective work and shows being in, you know, coming back onto streaming services, Hulu are showing Moonlighting. They've got the rights to show Moonlighting. But there is a caveat to it. It won't have all the original music in that it had when it was shown in the 80s, because obviously it'd be very expensive, you know, so there will be some edited music on it. So, I mean, I'm fortunate I do have the original DVD release box sets. So if I want to watch them in their entirety, I can watch them. But I'm hoping that Disney Plus will bring them here to the UK. You know, and show it here in the UK, because obviously there's a whole Disney Hulu connection kind of thing.
And that's an interesting thing, you know, because when I was, and it hadn't occurred to me, but when I was doing a video on Visionaries, I've had the Visionaries DVD set for, like, when I say set, it's like, you know, a normal DVD box, basically, with all the episodes on it. And that was an official release. And it never occurred to me that would actually have value now. But of course, that's unusual, because it's clearly not still. I kind of assumed it would still be on shelves and you could just pick it up, but apparently it isn't. So even the sort of stuff like my Ulysses and, like, you know, that you've got Thundercats, haven't you, Gareth? And you know,
I've got Thundercats. Still
I've got Dungeons and Dragons, and you know, so I guess some of those in and of themselves do actually have worth, because as you say, you know, not
the Dungeons and Dragons have just taken a big jump in value because of the recent popularity. You know, in both the movie and the game.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Stranger Things. I mean,
the Moonlighting one, the Moonlighting DVD box set. Yeah, that's now over 100. I think it's over £120 now. Where I think when it first came out, I think it was something like 35 quid.
Yeah,
it's just like absolutely ridiculous money. I mean, it's money that I would never pay for a DVD box set. You know, but it's like, I suppose someone who's a huge fan who maybe doesn't have it, you know, because I think originally it was Playback that released it originally over here.
They did a lot of stuff. They do Knight Rider and stuff as well.
Yeah, Knight Rider.
They did the opposite of Arrow. They just plastered it straight onto a disc without any cleanup whatsoever.
Yeah, we see. I've got their Quantum Leap box set, and I've got their Columbo box
picture it.
set. That Columbo box set, that is, I love that. I love Columbo. That's one of them shows that I could just watch all the way through and then go back to the beginning and then just watch again. And it's just like,
I've got it, but so far I've only watched the first two on it.
What's that, sorry?
I've got the Columbo box set, but I've only watched the first 2 episodes on it.
Right, yeah. No, that's another one where it's just great TV. It's just like.
I agree.
And there's some really good guest stars in it as well. The one with Roddy McDowell.
I was surprised to learn that the first episode was directed by Spielberg.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the guest villain was Jack Cassidy.
Right, yeah.
And he's the father of David Cassidy, from the Partridge Family. And funnily enough, he died. He burnt to death, did Jack Cassidy. He fell asleep while smoking a cigarette. And
God.
Yeah. It's
nasty.
quite a grisly end.
Yeah.
But he rocks up in quite a lot of episodes as Jack Cassidy as playing the villain.
Okay.
Yeah. He obviously playing different characters.
Different characters, yeah.
Him and Patrick McGowan as well. He does repeat guest starring. You've got Leonard Nimoy.
Something I must finish as well.
Oh, Prisoner.
Yeah, I need to get back to that. It must be a good 2 years since I last watched that. Yeah, I need to pick that back up.
Well, one box set I passed on years ago, and I wish I hadn't have done now, was Prisoner Cell Block H box set. And it actually came in a metal briefcase. I mean, obviously I used to love watching that, especially during my college years as well. Stopping up late, drinking and smoking things and watching Prisoner Cell Block H. But I think that's the thing. Don't you agree? I think there's just too much to be able to watch.
Oh yeah, God! I mean, it's days, weeks, months, years.
Yeah. I mean, I can sometimes do it on an evening. I'll sit down. I'll think, right, I'll put some on to watch, and by the time I've decided what to watch, it's like it's time for bed now.
Yeah, there is that.
I have to decide what I'm watching before I come home to sit down and relax. Because if I don't, I just end up flicking through Netflix or Amazon Prime for.
Well, I do YouTube a lot. I just bounce from YouTube clips.
Yeah, YouTube as well.
Just while I think about it, because when you said recording stuff late at night or watching stuff late at night, that reminded me of V, which then reminded me of another conversation we'd had latterly about there not being very many V toys, and I've now actually seen a V shuttle.
Right.
In the flesh in that shop in North Wales I bounced into, and I was like, we were just talking about that, and it's like and it was quite expensive, and it looked like
it will be,
but it did exist apparently. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they showed that over here, they showed it in '85, and they showed it through the summer on ITV, and what they did they actually, because the original miniseries came out in America in '84, but then it came over here in '85, but by then the Final Battle had already come out, because that came out in early '85. So the ITV over here just showed the whole lot, so it was on every day for a week, over 5 nights.
Yeah.
So we got the whole lot, rather than America where they got the first bit, waited, and then got the second bit.
Hi, Gap. Yes, we're still going.
Where are the men in the thumbnail? No idea.
We like the Duracell bunnies.
Yeah, false representation.
Yeah.
They were on earlier.
Yeah,
they've been over from them.
They've been and gone, but I'm just looking. It's what?
There is one other thing that I can show you that I picked up at Doncaster. Load of crap, though.
Yeah, do you want to show that and then we'll call it a night? Because I'm just looking.
And so many people are going to hate what's going to happen to these.
I'm going to be a year older in an hour and a half, so yeah, crack on.
I got some original Star Wars figures.
Lando.
But
Dengar.
they're all beaters. They're all quite well played with and paint
Oh,
rubbed
I had
off
that
them and things
Lando.
like that. Oh. Two
Two
Lando,
Lan-
one Dengar.
Yeah, I was just about to say 2 Landos, 1 Dengar.
A 4 Lom, as we
Yep.
now call him Zuckus. Klaatu Skiff Guard.
Yeah.
Bib Fortuna.
Ah.
Dengar's dead. But it's all right because it's Tweedledee and Tweedledum, look.
Right. So, can I ask, why have you bought these beaters?
Why have I bought them? Because it was one of the traders. He's always trying to get me to buy stuff off him, and I always say no. And he came at me at the end of the day, and he's like, "Will you buy some of these stuff off me? Will you buy it? Will you please buy some? I need to take some money home, otherwise my girlfriend's going to go mad." Because I've been buying loads of stuff, but I haven't sold out.
Right.
So I forget how many there are, but he had them all in a box, £5 each. And I'm like, well, that's why you haven't sold them. But I suppose, to be fair, that's not a bad price to public.
I don't think that is that bad for just reasonable
more of
condition
them.
loose ones. I don't
One in
know.
walk. Anyway, he says, give me 40 quid for a box full. And I'm like, you've no chance, mate. Me 35 quid for a box full. I says, you've no chance. Anyway, he says 30. And I looked at it, it's like, well, that's 2 Jurassic Park figures as well. That's £2 each. £2 each ain't bad. I think £2 each, there's a bit of profit in them there. So I thought, go on then. I took pity on him. But I'm now also thinking that maybe they won't get sold because I have my new fluorescent paints.
Disco Lando.
Yes. You see where I'm going with this, don't you?
Right.
So yeah, I'm thinking that I might do some absolutely mental sort of like pink and purple,
Why don't you
neon green, and
just
stick them in these cabinets once I've done.
why don't you do some boil and pop as well and do a custom figure?
Yeah, I've thought that.
Oh, he's about to engage.
No, wrong way.
Don't electrocute yourself live on air, please. Yeah. Good Lord. Wow.
These are quite-
I'm disturbed by the amount of rads that you're absorbing when you're sat there.
So, yeah. I think they'll look quite good in there.
Cool. And on that bombshell,
But I don't leave those lights on for very long because it is
I
UV.
know. Yeah, we were having that conversation, weren't we?
I don't know what kind of damage it might do to certain things. So they only go on for a couple of minutes every now and then.
Well, right then, chaps, it's been a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll see everybody in a couple of weeks.
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
It's been good. It's been a good couple of hours anyway. Good, well,
Yeah.
2.5
Yeah.
hours actually.
Maybe, maybe on the next episode we can coax those chaps from the thumbnail on for a bit.
Maybe. Maybe.
I hate that thumbnail of me. I really do. He's so much better looking than what I am.
It looks like sort of mirror universe you, I think. It's like a Star Trek mirror
Possibly, yeah.
universe you.
Yes, that's what it is, isn't it? Yes.
One who's
they're-
definitely got his shit more together than what I have.
They are the ISS Cosmic Council.
Yes. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Right then.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for watching,
Thanks,
everyone.
Brendan.
Have a good week and weekend, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And I'll be a year older.
Oh, when's the birthday? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Happy
many
birthday
happy returns for
tomorrow.
tomorrow, Andy.
Thank you.
Or should we stay on for another half hour? What is it, an hour?
Yeah, let's not.
No, let's not. Okay then.
I'm an old man now.
What's Gav say? Those blokes on the thumbnail look dapper.
Indeed.
I've got a new
Right,
t-shirt
okay.
and everything. God.
Well, happy birthday for tomorrow. I hope you have
Yes.
a great day.
Cheers.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, sir.
See you
Maybe
all.
are we allowed to ask how old you are?
We can ask.
Less than half a century, so it's all good still.
48?
Maybe. Might be that.
I'm assuming 48 because of a T-shirt you're wearing in a certain picture.
Oh, okay. He's been rifling through my pictures, people.
Well, where do you think I got the bloody thumbnail from?
Yeah.
I don't think Andy realizes that Eddie made today's thumbnail.
Ah, okay. Got you.
I paid someone to do it. Some bloke that turns up in the loft every now and again.
You didn't pay anyone to do it. You're too tight.
I'm not too bloody tight. I buy stuff from you.
Oh, wow. Oh. Be nice or the pencil gets it.
Cheers, old boomers. Boomers?
Gap.
And I'll have you know that I am not proud of being this, but I am actually a millennial.
Yeah. Mm.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that bracket.
Right. Good night, everyone.
Yep.
Take care. We'll
See
see
you all
you in
later.
a couple of weeks. Happy birthday for tomorrow.
Yep. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Andy. Cheers. Take care, Cap.
Yeah.